Hello, welcome to another episode of A Few Minutes with Marvin. I inspire those who aspire to make positive changes in their lives. And today I want to focus on you, your authentic self. Are you ready to tell yourself the truth? I think you are. Who is your authentic self? Have you really gone deep to find out who you really are? What does it take for you to get there? I'm just going to go briefly into some of the things that I've done to help me find my authentic self. And the first one is to first figure out that you're not being your authentic self, right? You really have to go deep on this one. Go as far back as you can to some of those things that you were taught, right? All these learned behaviors. Where did you get them from? Was it from watching your siblings? Was it from school classmates? Was it from your parents? Was it from, whatever sports, that you played in? Is it a job? Was it a job that defined what you believe yourself to be? Is it judgment from other people that you're holding on to as truth that isn't true? It goes really deep. Becoming your authentic self, wow, it takes a lot of self-reflection, a lot of forgiveness of yourself, because you're going to come into situations where you're thinking about an event and you'll say, wow, all my life I thought I was this. That wasn't what I was. That's what I was taught, right? That's what my parents did. That's what my siblings did. That's what my aunts and uncles did. That's what my, Sunday school teacher did, right? It could come from so many different places. The guy on the bus, the people you see in the park or at the gym. All these things are influences in your life, especially when we're younger, right? In the schoolyard, the bullying, and how other people saw you, right? That you were different, that you were weird, right? That you were unique, that you didn't follow what everybody else did, right? They judged you for your looks and for your weight, right? It's time to find who your authentic self is. Your authentic self is hidden, right? Because of all of these pressures and all these judgments and fears, right? Because judgments become fear. You don't want somebody to look at you a certain way, so you don't act that way, the way that you normally would, the way that you really feel you should be, right? You take on a different persona, you put on a mask, right? You hide who you really are, you go into the closet, right? So on your path to finding who you authentically are, first you have to detach from who you aren't, right? Who's not your authentic self. It's your school teacher, it's your parents, it's your boss, right? It's your siblings, right? We take on all those. They're all mirrors, right? So they're all reflections we're all reflections of each other, but how do you, push those other reflections away, right? It's all you anyway. And that's how you do it. First you realize that anything that was judged against you was actually you judging yourself, and allowing those others to control your thoughts about who you authentically are. So that's crucial that you go first find out who you're not, who you thought you were because other people told you that's who you are, or other the media projections on you in Hollywood, right? And social media, all of those judgments against you, and setting those standards really high, those bars really high, so that you don't think you can be that, when You don't have to be that at all. You don't have to be like that person on TV. You don't have to be like your parents. You don't have to be like your husband or wife, right, to please them. Those days are over. And the more you come to know that and embrace your true, authentic self, man, your world is going to change. Hold on, my friend. Change is good. So now that you've gone as deep as you can and figured out who you really are, not the character that you were made to be, right? Somebody else's script. That now you have to embrace it, right? Now that you know that you're not that and that, now you start to figure out who you really are. Am I that creative artist that I was told couldn't draw, but I really can, right? You have to start really embracing your talents and anything that was taken away from you, seemingly by others, but you did it to yourself because you chose to listen to them and hide your own truth. So now it's about embracing the truths that you know, right? And forgiving yourself for anything that you maybe in your past that you did that you really didn't want to do, that wasn't your truly authentic self, but in those moments you made those choices, right? Regardless of who influenced you, you still made the choice. So now it's about forgiving yourself, and I love doing the Ho'oponopono meditation. So I would suggest you do that for 21 days. That's a really good way to start, right? Forgiving yourself, because you got to detach yourself from those energies and not beat yourself up, right? It's time to put that all away. Say, okay, that is not my authentic self. I'm grateful for those experiences that I chose, regardless of what they look like or who they look like. The bottom line is that I made those decisions, and that's good. It's okay. I chose to experience that. I learned from those experiences. I choose to release that experience with unconditional love and gratitude and compassion and kindness for myself. That's how you embrace your authentic self, right? The past is gone. That was in my past. That is not me anymore. That's not my truth anymore. It's going to take some time, right? Because you have to deprogram yourself and you have to learn to love yourself, your authentic self, flaws and all, right? Doesn't matter what other people think. What do you think about yourself? It's time to start loving yourself. And I encourage you to every morning wake up and look yourself in the mirror and say, I love myself, or I love you, right? Now you're looking at yourself. And when you can do that, that's when your authenticity really starts shining, because you're embracing who you truly are, right? Isn't that cool? Once I started doing that, it became a thing that I do every day. Every morning I wake up, I look at myself in the mirror and say, I love you. I also say, it's going to be the best day ever, right? Because your intentions is everything. I'm going to stand in my truth and in my sovereignty, right? And in my freedom. Once you identify who you authentically are and embraced it, right? Now it's time to find out what brings you, your authentic self, passion, right? If it's not your current job, if it's not your current situation, living situation, if it's not your current relationship situation, it's time to reevaluate those, right? And find out, was I in this? Was I doing that because somebody else did it? Somebody else told me that it was to do. It's the American dream, right? All that nonsense that's been programmed into our brains. Figure out what brings you passion, right? Is it playing the violin, right? Even though you don't know how to play the violin, maybe it's time to start learning. Simple things like that. It could be something that you totally forgot you used to like to do, but somewhere along the line, somebody said something that, made you shut that off. Maybe it's time to revisit something like that, right? Something that's going to keep you passionate. And if it means quitting your job or quitting a relationship or detaching from a loved one or a friend who just keeps you in low vibrations and doesn't honor your authentic self and the changes and choices that you're making in this now moment, you need to release those and replace them. How do you replace them? Stand in your truth, right? Set boundaries with these other people. And, you know, don't say that they're wrong, right? Or that they wronged you for giving you what they thought was right, right? You still made that choice to be in line with them. It's about saying, okay, I don't think that way anymore. I'm not that person, right? I was never that person. You stand in your now truth. Whether they understand it or not, whether they laugh at you or not. That doesn't matter. When you're living your authentic truth, nothing that anybody else does or says to you will matter. It's almost like you put up an armor, beautiful suit of armor, right? And everything just bounces off. You know, just like Neo in the Matrix. He put his hand up to block the bullets. Once you embrace your authenticity, you're going to be able to do that too. People's words aren't going to pierce you like they did anymore, because words don't matter, right? Because you don't accept those words anymore. It's not your truth. And then, you know, yeah, there's going to be a transitional period where you need to find out who you align with, raise your frequencies, and standing in your truth, and then letting those chips fall where they may. Some people will fall away, and some people will draw closer to you, and you'll attract a different type of person, right? A like-minded soul. I know it's hard when you're trying to do this. You can struggle, but you have to stay with it, right? That's the key. When you think you want to give up, that's the time to take a deeper breath and dive deeper, or hold your breath a little bit more, whatever that means to you. That's what defines you. That's what makes you your authentic self. Your courage, your strength, your trust in yourself, in your authentic truth, speaking your authentic truth. Now, along my journey, I've had to go back. In order for me to cut some energetic ties with the things that I used to do, I had to put them on this YouTube channel and speak my authentic truth of who I was in my past, right? I came to terms with those things on YouTube and on a couple other platforms, and with friends and strangers. I started standing in my authentic truth. You know, I identified there was a truth that I held on to for so long. And I had to say, no, that's not my truth anymore. But I would tell people, in my past, I believed that, I did these things. I'm not ashamed of them, and I don't care if you're judging me for them. I am not that now, and nor do I intend to be it anymore, because it's not my authentic self. This is my authentic self. And those people that you know, say, oh wow, you did it, you know, that's amazing, right? They see your journey, they see where you've come, and all the struggles, and all of a sudden for you to find who you really are and not identify with those other things anymore, but be able to speak about them, man, that is growth beyond belief. Yeah, I don't like using the word belief, but that's true growth, and that's true authenticity. So you need to take ownership of your past and look at it as an experience that you had, right? And take the lessons that you learned, and then choose not to experience that anymore, and choose to not live a false life anymore. You need to be authentic in that. That's the next thing that you need to do. Once you find your authenticity and who you are and your truth, you need to stand in it every now moment. Even if you're in a situation where it gives you fear, you've been down in this situation before and you've cowered out of it before. No more. It's time for you to stand up for yourself. Not in a negative way, right? Putting a boundary up against that. I do not allow that situation. I do not allow this person back in my life, right? That's energy. That's flow. That's authenticity. That's a frequency that you're putting out. I do not consent to that energy anymore. It was in my past. It's not mine anymore. I'm raising myself past that. And the more you do that on a consistent basis, the less those energies try to enter, right? Because those energies don't want to go away. Those people don't want to go away. But you need to stand in your truth. And then they'll just fall away. And the ones that stay are meant to be in your life. Again, not the easiest thing in the world to do. But as you're doing the spiritual work, you're going to align with yourself. You're going to love yourself so much that nothing else matters. And it's not that you don't care about anybody else, but you have to love yourself first. Be authentic with you first. Then you can be your authentic self everywhere without worrying about judgment or what people are saying, looking, doing. That doesn't matter, right? So those are the keys to being your authentic self. But along this journey, you're gonna have to give up a lot of things, and it's not giving them up. It's just deciding they're not for me anymore. Some of those things for me were television, movies, right? Alcohol, meat for me. I'm on a vegan. I don't like calling myself a vegan, but I don't eat meat. I don't eat dairy. I don't eat fish. I don't eat, any animal product. So that puts me in that category, I guess. But I don't consent to that label. Anyway, see, I'm standing in my truth, right? I'm telling you that is my truth. But I don't want to be put in a box, and neither should you, right? So it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. It takes a lot of courage, but you have to give these things up. Yet energetically, you're gonna feel. Sometimes you're just like, man, they're saying the same thing over and over. I want to turn that off. Or you're gonna be at a bar and you're gonna realize that, man, we're at the same bar every week, doing the same thing, talking about the same things, and it doesn't, resonate for me anymore. And you just start going, well, I'll get there later. Sometimes I won't get there at all, right? And those things will start falling away too, because energetically, those things aren't our truths. Those are those commercials that were drilled into our head. The alcohol, and especially around the holiday season, all the alcohol, right? Buy somebody a bottle of wine, buy somebody a nice bottle of scotch. For what? To keep yourself in low frequency and low vibrations. That is the truth of it. Yeah, we can have that experience in the 3D, right? You can participate in that. But as you want to elevate, those things don't belong there anymore. What good is it doing you? What good is it doing your body? It really isn't, right? It's really keeping you energetically low vibration. And, even though you want to have that experience, you're allowing that experience to control you, even though you think you're in control of it. It's not who you are authentically. So start to, make some of those choices. So the final piece to becoming your authentic self is mind your choices. If you want to stay in the 3D a little bit, you have to really decide that it's for your highest good in some way, shape, or form. And then intend not to absorb any of the negative energies that some of those things may have attached to them. And that's fine if you want to do that, but that gets exhausting after a while, right? Because you're constantly having to put up protection against whatever harm that alcohol is going to do to my body, or those drugs or pills or whatever. Is it worth it? Is it worth the experience? You've experienced that before. I've experienced drinking before. I've experienced being drunk before. I don't need to experience those things anymore. That's what it becomes. That's when you become your authentic self. I don't need to experience that anymore. What new thing can I experience that's on a spiritual level that can elevate my frequencies? That's where you want to get. When you're there, that's who you are authentically. That's it in a nutshell. I really hope that this resonates for you. It's a topic that's been on my mind for a while, but I had to keep embracing my authentic self, right, every time. And I'm on my way. Am I 100%? Do we ever get to 100%? What is 100%, right? It's all relative. So as long as you feel you're being authentic to yourself and not lying to yourself, right? When you don't lie to yourself, you have no need to lie to others. Bottom line. And that's a good place to end this little chat. I hope it, brings you some clarity. And if you're still in that process and you're having a hard time going deep to pick up what it is that's still with you that's not your authentic self, I might be able to help you. I'm a transformational life coach. Here's the link to my website. We can get pretty deep in these things, and for me, it's not about, I certainly don't judge you for any of your choices. It's about holding that space to allow you to have the confidence to come out of that closet. If I can do that for you, it'd be my honor and pleasure to do so. And if you like the contents of this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, leave a comment. I'd love to know where you are on your authentic truth-seeking journey. And subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell notification to get more, to get notifications when I put my videos out. It's usually 3 times a week. And the channel's growing, and thank you for being a part of my growth. I'm truly blessed and truly grateful. So continue on your path to your own authenticity. Don't put a timeline on it. You're always learning. There's always something that's still back there that you need to take a look at and release. So release more, honor yourself more, speak your truth to yourself more, and have an amazing day.